You guys are absolutely gaslighters. This is not fun.
I'm not even high maintenance, I just have hygiene standards.
I know my bodily functions. I'm not trying to shit on the side of the road.
I've lived through a lot of crap. I don't need to be putting myself through this stuff. This is not for me.
Guess what? More hills. More hills. A few more fucking hills. So over it. Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I putting myself through this when I don't have to? I'm definitely dehydrated. I am paying money to be uncomfortable.
I don't need to be doing this, and if I'm having a frank reflection, this is probably just one big ego trip.
My name's Erin, and I'm a travel photographer and content creator based in New York City. Welcome to my corner of the internet. This video is part of a series of my journey hiking the Camino Inglés in 5 days. The first night on the Camino Inglés was off to a rocky start. After an uncomfortable night in my first albergue, I can confidently say a communal living space, even for a night, is not for me. This wasn't fun. It was also my first experience in mixed gender accommodations. What really got me were the pungent smells. Specifically from people's hiking boots and outerwear. I recommend not wearing hiking boots and instead opting for trail running sneakers. I anticipated snoring while staying in a shared dorm albergue, but what I didn't anticipate were the blasts of fireworks popping off right outside the window of our room. I would have loved to go outside and photograph the fireworks and observe the pair's festivities in town, but I was on a time crunch. Guess I'll just have to come back.
Just left my first albergue in Pontedeume. I was the last one out. I'm in no hurry because it's raining again. I'm not in a rush to go get wet.
They say the Camino always provides, and before starting my next dreaded 15 miles to Betanzos in the rain, I turned a corner that yielded a comfortable breakfast right in the historic corridor of Pontedeume.
Usually I don't like to eat before I do my workout, but we're changing operation. I'm just gonna be eating periodically because also I need to be mindful of my legs, my back, like especially with the weight and being able to walk.
Everyone has their own reasons for walking the Camino de Santiago and making it to the cathedral. It's considered a bucket list experience for many. Even though this pilgrimage started for religious reasons, anyone in today's age can do it. There are many reasons why people do this trek.
But the question that keeps coming back to me is, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I putting myself through this when I don't have to?
To be honest, I don't have any profound reason for doing this. I overcame my demons over a decade ago, so there was no finding myself or anything like that. I just wanted the challenge, especially since I walked 32 miles in a day around the perimeter of Manhattan the year before.
I'm curious, what's the universe got for me? Guess what? More hills. I'm so over it. Ooh, this looks interesting. It's finally stopped raining for day 2. I'm in Minho, which is like the halfway point between Pontedeume and Betanzos. As it was raining for the first 2.5 hours of my walk from Pontedeume, I didn't feel any soreness. It's like the humidity or something alleviated the soreness and any pain I had. It was a warm rain, but then once the rain stopped, like I could feel the soreness coming into my feet.
One thing I didn't see coming was all the hills. The higher elevation would drag on, and with a 20-pound rucksack on my back, the weight felt like a boulder walking up. Betanzos is renowned as one of the prettiest and oldest towns in Galicia, with a rich history and beautifully preserved medieval center. It has a history that predates the Romans. Before arriving in town, I almost got lost without even realizing it. A friendly neighbor flagged me down and redirected me to turn at the church parking lot. He says it happens all the time. When I finally got to Betanzos, I was blown away by the beauty of this place, and once I checked into my hostel, I was genuinely tempted to quit my Camino and spend the rest of my trip chilling here.
Gorgeous.
Everyone and their mother says they found a hidden gem, but this is quite literally a hidden gem in Spain. After walking 6 hours in the rain from Pontedeume to Betanzos, I checked into Hostel Portico and took the hottest shower and felt like a human again. The previous night I was staying in a shared albergue, and once I got here I didn't want to leave. Where else can you get a private room with a terrace for only 60 euros? There was actual shelf space, warm lighting, shower doors that actually close and aren't those weird European half panels, the water pressure was perfect, and checkout was a generous 12:30 p.m. Alas, when I set my mind on something, I have to finish it. So, the next morning, after eating a pilgrim breakfast, and by that I mean tomato toast and coffee, I was back out walking to the next town. I wish I had given myself a longer stay, but the great thing about Spain is its public transportation, so I'll definitely be back to explore the town further. The one con of the hostel I'll mention is that you can hear the street below, but if you're a city dweller like I am, outside noise shouldn't faze you. There's also a hum from the electrical box when you're trying to sleep, but pull the cord from the socket and you'll get a quiet night.
Just got to the back of Betanzos and More hills. I'm so over these damn hills.
I found my journey out of Betanzos quite stress-free. The route is fairly marked, with brass plates on the ground and plenty of yellow arrows. You can pick up the arrows in the main square, in the old town past a tourist office, and follow the arrows across an old bridge that leads you out of town. The only downside was those damn hills. This was the first day I was finally getting a break in the weather. I thought I was getting the hang of my routine, walking 15 miles every day. But getting to Hospital de Bruma humbled me. This town exists because of the medieval pilgrim hospital, established around 1140 and officially annexed to the Cathedral of Santiago in 1175. Unfortunately, this area is a bit of a bottleneck on the Camino Inglés because there aren't many accommodation options, so booking in advance is recommended here. It's the only town I booked early, and I ended up staying at a pension, which is a budget-friendly, family-run guest house or boarding house. I stayed in a double room for 50 euros cash, which I thought was good for the money until I saw this.
And I got a spook of my life. Realized that they didn't have a hairdryer, so I couldn't even wash my hair after a sweaty day. It's gonna sound like I'm just like complaining about everything, but I'm not even high maintenance. I just have hygiene standards. I've lived through a lot of crap. I don't need to be putting myself through this stuff. My conclusion is that this is not for me. I don't need to be doing any more Caminos in the future, but I'm not gonna stop because I'm 2 days out and I just don't quit when I set my sights to something. I don't need to be doing this, and if I'm having a frank reflection for myself, this is probably just one big ego trip.
On my 4th day of the Camino, all I wanted was to GTFO and start my day as soon as possible, because what even is that?
Starting day 4 from Hospital de Bruma to Siguiero. It's a brisk morning, but honestly it's better because when sweating like crazy, I'm definitely dehydrated. It's just hard to find water along the way. Usually I like to eat after the workout, but I had to shift the way I operate for this trip. I take a more extreme way when I travel because I know my bodily function. You don't know where the bathroom is. I'm not trying to shit on the side of the road. I'm gonna go get some breakfast before I start, and then another 15-mile day. A lot of the pilgrims start at like 5 a.m. And again, I'm like one of the last ones out, but I personally don't see the point to do that in this kind of weather when it's nice out and it's dark out until 8 a.m. So I'm in no rush. Plus, like when I get there, I'm so tired, I'm not doing anything afterwards. So you don't need to be starting first thing in the morning. I understand in the summer, yes, you want to beat the Spanish heat, but you're not really getting that during this time of year.
After staying in that amazing hostel in Betanzos the night before, the temptation to stop walking towards Santiago de Compostela and turn around got even stronger. But I like to finish what I start, and the pension is about a mile outside of the Camino Inglés route, so I walked over to one of the only restaurants in town for a pilgrim breakfast before taking on the next 15 miles of the day. The good thing about this leg of the hike is that it's mostly downhill, and for that, my legs were grateful. You may not really notice it, but you will notice the random dinosaur statues, among others, on the side of the road. I made a pit stop to eat another tomato toast, since there are no other services until Siguiero. It tasted of sweet tomatoes drenched in olive oil, and I looked forward to ordering this simple dish where I could.
So in order to qualify for a Composteller certificate in Santiago de Compostela, you need to get 2 stamps per day. It's very easy to get. Usually at the place you're staying at night, the albergue, hotel, hostel, whatever, pension. And then in the morning, wherever you get breakfast. That's usually how I've been doing it. And then in the middle of the day when I have my break, so I get about 3 a day. Technically, if you bike, you have to do 200 kilometers versus walking is the 100 kilometers. But who's gonna know? This is completely based on an honor system. How's anyone gonna actually know how you completed your Camino? You could technically cheat, take a car or hitchhike or something to get in between towns. How you complete it is between you and God. And if you're not religious, well, I'm not gonna do it because I'm a principled person and I wanna be able to say I'm better than you. If I wasn't, that's what I would do. Super tempting. Do I think walking the Camino de Santiago is safe as a solo female traveler? Yes, I can pick my wedgie without worrying there's someone behind me.
Getting to Siguiero, the landscape starts to become more suburban and urban again. I ended up staying in a decent albergue that was much better than the one I stayed in Pontedeume. It even had a wash and dry for 5 euros, which is cheaper than going to a self-service laundromat. While I was hoping to avoid this, I got stuck in the biggest mixed dorm space again. The hard part of living an authentic pilgrim experience is that all of the private rooms get booked up in advance. Dehydration also became an issue. When I travel, I tend to dry myself out by restricting my water intake. Topped with increased physical activity, walking 15 miles a day, I was surprised I didn't end up with any Charlie horses. Instead, I self-diagnosed that I did end up getting exercise-induced vasculitis, otherwise known as Disney feet.
The Camino will have you doing the most heinous shit. I have never worn this combo in my life. It's a down jacket with shorts. But I arrived to my albergue in Siguiero and they have a wash and dryer for €5, which is cheaper than if I were to do it at a laundromat. So I just threw everything in there because I needed to wash all my clothes. I can't wait to put pants back on though. I didn't get good rest in the albergue. It was nice for an albergue, but I was stuffed in a room with 14 other people. A lot of dudes in that room. Oh, the snoring. The farting, no circulation because there's no window to open, so it was really hot and stuffy. I cannot do albergues.
The fifth and last day of my Camino was the happiest day.
In true Camino fashion, it is raining on my last day, but I'm hopeful that it will clear up as I arrive into town. Soaked. For those of you that say the Camino is fun, you guys are absolutely gaslighters. This is not fun. I am paying money to be uncomfortable. If I wanted to do this, I could literally just walk around Cranberry, New Jersey. If there's one thing about me, is that I'm freaking stubborn and I just need to get this done. Just would have been nice if the weather cooperated a little bit more.
If you're walking the Camino Inglés to Santiago de Compostela, you can't miss the magical enchanted forest.
Hola. Muchos peritos.
Just a few kilometers from Santiago de Compostela's historic center, this hidden gem is a natural paradise where oak, chestnut, and fir trees create a canopy of green. Some are more than 200 years old, standing as living witnesses to centuries of pilgrims passing by. The forest is easily accessible, whether you're finishing the Camino or exploring Galicia's natural beauty on a day trip. This might be controversial, but throughout my time walking the Camino, all I felt was how much time I was wasting by walking. I could have spent that time enjoying each town I was in for longer than a few hours. Instead, I was walking on farmlands, in the woods, and on the sides of highways, all in the rain. Perhaps if I got lucky with good weather, my tune would be different. Of course, I knew this was the risk since it's always raining in Galicia.
Just passed a 9K marker, so less than a 10K, that's less than 6 miles. I've been booking it ever since because I resigned myself, like, just gonna get soaked. 5.4 kilometers, that means a little over 3.1 miles. It started to get a little bit sunnier, no more rain at least, so maybe I am gonna end with beautiful weather. 5.1 kilometers, basically 3.1 miles. This is my jam, my bread and butter, a 5K. Gotta finish strong. I'm almost tempted to just run it to finish. Okay, I think we made it. After 119 kilometers, 75 miles. Made it.